Hello there and welcome. So today I'm running a training session for 4 students, and they've all got slightly different backgrounds, but one thing they do have in common is they've all ridden motorcycles before, but never a large motorcycle, so 125cc is the maximum that they've ridden. This training session today is to get them riding larger motorcycles so they can be ready for their direct access courses, so that when they start on the intensive course they find that they can hit the ground running, so to speak, and get the full benefit from the course. So today it works as an assessment of their ability. They're also going to get some input on training, how they can improve riding the motorcycle and increase their confidence. So this video will just show extracts from the training session. It doesn't show it in its entirety. It's just to give you a flavour of what the students are undertaking, feel confident to get through the course. So because you guys have ridden, I'm just going to give you a moment to get used to stuff, just to make sure everything's good. So, are you happy with the bikes? Yeah. So the first thing I'd say, especially about transitioning from a smaller bike to a larger bike, you're well aware you've got the extra weight to deal with. And so the slow speed control technique that you did on your CBTs is really important on these bikes, okay?
Just wave a flag and off.
Yeah, it'd be great, wouldn't it? We could do that. It'd be much more fun, wouldn't it? Anyway.
Yeah,
it'd be quite a good laugh. No, it wouldn't. Right, so yeah, that slow speed control technique that you learn is vital for controlling these bikes. So just remember, clutch control is absolutely everything. Because even if you're maybe a little bit clumsy on the throttle, if your clutch control is good, then you'll be safe. All right, that's your safety. So when you're going to come around these tight, slow speed-ish corners, remember that clutch slip plays an important part. So when you're ready then, if you'd like to just turn your ignitions to the on position, and when you're happy it's in neutral, start the engine. All right guys, so the first thing we're going to get used to now is good throttle control. Just get used to the response of the vehicle, all right? So, quick demonstration I'm going to give you. If you can see my hand, what we don't want is this. All right? So, at low speeds, nice gentle use of the throttle. Both up and down. You should notice there that you can hardly see my hand moving at all. I'm not white knuckling it, but I am using the muscles in the hand to achieve very fine throttle control. And that's important for you on these, because when you're using that slow speed control technique and you're bringing the revs up for stability, for any of the bends or the slow manoeuvres, a little bit of gas just stabilises the bike without being excessive. So if you just like to have a play with that and get used to it. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're just going to find the biting point without any throttle. So when you're ready, first gear please. Okay, so just find the bite, just so you start to build a muscle memory and know where that bite is. If the bike actually lurches forward, it's too much. So nice and gentle, nice and smooth. Okay, don't go anywhere though. All right. Okay, so I don't know if you know, you're all doing that, and where are you looking? Here, down, yeah, okay. So what I'd like you to do now is look right towards the end of the training area. So your head and eyes are parallel to the ground, looking to the far end, and just find the biting point 4 times in your own time, but without dropping your eyes. Happy with that? Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna keep both feet on the floor. We're gonna allow the motorcycle to come forward to about here, purely on the clutch with no throttle. When you reach about 1 metre ahead of you, just pull the clutch in and allow the bike to stop without using any brakes. You happy with that? In your own time, away you go. Lovely. And the only reason I do that is because it just shows you do not need to grab a brake to stop the bike. It will just gently run out of energy and it's no problem. I know you know that because you rode yesterday, but it's a different bike and it's a different way. So, what brake would we use for slow speed manoeuvres? Rear. Everyone happy with the rear? So the front brake is your strongest brake, yeah? Would we use the front brake at low speed? Unless we had to put that brake foot down for a very good reason, like an adverse camber. So especially with the larger weight, the heavier weight of the bikes, your front brake must be very smooth and very progressive. So all controls on a motorcycle must always be smooth and progressive, yeah? So we're just going to repeat the exercise now that you just did. Come forward a metre, but this time stop it on the front brake. If the bike does this, it's wrong. If the bike does this and stops like it stopped without the brake, it's right. All right? So it's about as smooth as you can on that front brake. So in your own time, come forward about a metre, stop gently on the front, away you go. Okay. Okay.
A little bit too much there.
Yeah, okay. Oh, are you all car drivers? Yeah? So, when you use your foot brake on the car, presumably, I hope, when you start to brake, you put a little bit of pressure on, don't you? And if you want to get rid of more speed, you keep going, keep going, keep going, yeah? When that car's down to 5, 4, 3, 2 miles an hour, do you release that pedal gradually? It's exactly the same on a motorcycle, isn't it? It's what we call tapered braking, yeah? And that's why that was a little bit harsh, yeah? You hardly need it. We'll just do that again. Just come forward a metre, stop as gently as you can. Eyes up, look well ahead. Gently, gently, gently. Great. So, you know, we'll practice this as you go through your training. The reason it's so important, especially on roads like this, not going to be a big issue on here today at these speeds, but tyre grip is everything, isn't it? So the firmer you are with your controls, the more stress you put on a tyre. And if you start getting things a bit aggressive, a little bit harsh, this is where the bike will let go and then you'll be in a world of trouble. Okay? And then just ride the bike and bring it to a stop. I am not worried at the moment about how accurately you stop on the give way line. That is the least of my interest today, providing you don't put it in the bushes. All right? What I am interested in is how smoothly and how gently and controlled you stop. So don't worry about having to stop on the line. I'd rather you went over it or stopped short, but in a very smooth, controlled way. All right? Okay, any questions before I disappear? Yeah, good job, good job. Try not to drop your eyes when you stop because it affects your balance. And if you can kick that foot up, so much the better once you've stopped. Yeah. Let's do it. Fabulous, no issues, all right? Just keep the eyes up, try not to let them drop down. You know, if you're doing junction work, you want to be aware of what you're doing, not looking there as you approach the junction. So what we're going to have a go at now is to ride around the perimeter of the circuit of the training area. The big bikes will, with the closed throttle, just trot around with the clutch fully engaged. And if you want to do that to start with, just to get your balance and get a feel for it, I'm more than happy for you to do so. But be aware of the benefits of clutch slip when you need it. If you're quite happy with the bike and you want to start slipping the clutch prior to entering the bend, popping a little bit of gas on, considering rear brake like you did on your CBT, absolutely fine. So what I'm looking at is just for you to build your confidence in your own time. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'll try and assist you as best I can to build that confidence. If you've got any issues, please ask. All right? So just let the bike take you, turn your head and look all the way through the turn. Don't look at the floor, look up the road, look up the road, look up, that's it. So if you look up, you're much more likely to go there. Always cover the clutch in a slow area. Looking up, don't look down. Even though you feel your balance going, don't put your eyes down. You can put your foot down, but don't put your eyes down, because that'll make it worse, okay? That's nice. And it's good that you're allowing the bike to totter along and you're correcting your balance, which is really good. If you keep your eyes up, you'll be absolutely fine here. Let your shoulders and your arms, elbows relax a little bit and you'll find it easier. Put the fingers on the clutch though, please. That's great. Good. Come round the corner, looking up. Unlock your elbow. That's better. Looking up. Take it gently with a tiny bit of gas up to the junction and stop at the give way line as smoothly as you can. Throttle off, gently, gently, gently. Good effort, into neutral please. Happy with that? Okay, could you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, in your own time, off you go. You're going to try and go through the gap between the orange and the reds with maximum turning circle. All right, buddy? So look where you want to go. That's most important, to look up. Look where you want to go, buddy. That's great. Now you're going to look around towards me and let the bike just take you. Just look at me, just let it happen. If your foot touches down, we're not worried. Just don't drop your eyes. That's great. Now look well ahead, look far ahead as you can. Just get used to the bike. So when you want to do a turn, just turn the head first, the bike follows. Look all the way up, trust it, it'll take you. Look up, look further up the road, that's great. And back to your usual position. Looking up to me, looking up, that's good. Keep the eyes up, always look through the turn. Let your shoulder and your elbows relax into it. Look well ahead. Look through the turn, looking up. Happy with that?
Yeah. The only thing with that corner there, the bike's heavy, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot heavier than what I anticipated.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've got it down there.
Yeah. And that's the thing, it's just getting used to it, isn't it? It's just converting and getting it into your psyche.
The 125, you know, yesterday, that went around the circle easy.
Oh yeah, yeah. What you'll find is once you get used to these, they're more planted.
Yeah.
So it's just really the relationship between both your hands of getting the power and the clutch correct, and then it's going to work. And naturally you can just consider use of the rear brake if you need to restrain the bike at all, even with your clutch slip. But no, happy days, good job. That's it, turn ahead, all the way through the turn. Drop the elbow into the turn a little bit, drop it in. That's it, now gentle clutch, bring the bike out of the turn. There we go. And breathe. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let you all loose together, because you've shown that you can move away and you can ride and you can stop, and you know, you've got to get your confidence with these things, but you're safe. Make sure you give each other as much room as you can. I'm just going to have a look and see what you do, and rather than keep getting on your case, I want you to just get used to things. Just remember the things we've highlighted on that first circuit. If your body is tense, you will struggle to corner. The more relaxed you are, the better. Remember, for cornering at low speeds, it is generally better to counterbalance the bike. In other words, use your hips and let the bike lean into the turn rather than leaning with the bike, because you'll feel that weight draw you a little bit more. Slow speed control is important with the clutch slip and the gas. Gas being for stability, clutch delivering the power, rear brake taking away any unwanted speed if you want to. Other than that, any questions? All delighted to be here and get wet. Okay, away you go, please. Okay. Okay, now make sure you don't cover your front brake in a bend, all right? Always cover the clutch in the slow area, okay? Cover in the clutch then, please, thank you. So try not to convert the power to the speed. So we want to bring that power on now then, please, and using the rear brake to assist in the control now. Slow as you can. That's good, you're getting that control now. Lovely. Lift the eyes, that's great. Yeah, don't worry, everyone does it. Keeping the eyes up. Right, okay, lovely. Happy? As much as you can be, spending an afternoon in the rain with me. Okay, so that's a nice start, okay? And if we had loads of time or on your course, we'd keep working with that and we'd get that to a higher polish. But it's a nice baseline to start with. Just remember, it's great to have a bit of vehicle sympathy, so we don't want your revs screaming. But if you're not confident and you have got to tighten very tightly, it's like I said to you over there, in the bend, it's important to have some revs on. Because if you don't, and it starts to tip, okay, your tick over might give you a little bit more push when you let the clutch out, but it's not going to be significant, possibly, yeah? And then you've got to try and bring that on and then reintroduce the clutch, and you haven't got time to do that. So what would be the risk of having your power on like I've asked you to do, being mid-bend and then letting the clutch out? That's a little bit too quickly or too much. What's the risk in doing that?
Low slide. You'd low slide.
Could do, couldn't you? If your tyre lost grip, you could low slide, definitely. What if your tyre gripped? What's the risk then? Ah, right, your bike's going to go straight, yeah. Because a motorcycle, under acceleration, wants to sit upright and go in a straight line, doesn't it? So one of the problems we see a lot in bends is people running wide. And the reason that people very often run wide is too much power too soon while still cornering. Yeah, we can gently accelerate out of a bend, and we can, when we get more experience, we can use that technique to choose the correct line on the exit of the bend if we really want to, once we know what we're doing. But somewhere like this, when it's pretty tight, you let that out too much and you don't put a different lean angle on or correct it with a rear brake, that bike's going to sit up and run wide every time. So it's just something to be aware of, that this is why we say your clutch control is so important. Okay, how do you feel about doing the slalom now? Okay, it is a slow speed control maneuver, that's what it's described as on your test. If you go ridiculously slow, it is a little bit harder. A little bit of momentum makes it a little bit easier. Today I don't mind if you hit the cones, so don't panic about that. If you feel that you can't make the next gap, go to the next one. If you feel like you've had a bit of a meltdown, I don't mind what you do, as long as it's safe. We'll try again next time, all right? So don't be too worried about that. Any questions before I set you loose? So cover your clutch, because that gives you that clutch control through the turn. Okay, good, well done. A little bit of gas, keep the eyes up. Good job, yeah, keep the eyes up, let it happen, good. Really nice. Okay, into neutral, switch off if you're not already there. Good effort, I reckon. First time on big bikes, that's good. And bearing in mind you've not ridden for 2.5 years. We can't grumble at that, can we? Okay. So yeah, something I've mentioned a few times to a couple of you on the run, just let's reinforce this. When you're traveling at lower speeds, it's best to keep your fingers touching the clutch, even if you're fully engaged. And the reason behind that is, when you're doing maneuvers or you're coming through a tight bend, if for any reason you put the gas on, either consciously or unconsciously as a new rider, if that lurches or surges too much, you've got a tight time span to try and get the fingers onto the clutch and correct the problem. And that's when you can run wide or go somewhere that you don't want to go. So by keeping the fingers on the clutch all the time for slow maneuvers, you have that flexibility to control the power to the back wheel. I like it as well because when you've got wet roads, if you feel that back start to step out, once you do that, you reduce the amount of issue with the power, if you've got it wrong, straight away just here. So that smoothness with which you control the bike is so important to your personal safety. Right, 3 CBTers, obviously done figure of 8s. Do we happy with the figure of 8? Yeah, quite happy, not too bad. All right, so what we'll do then, one by one, we'll do a figure of 8. I'm not worried about how tight you turn today. Please just do what's good for you to gain your confidence on the bike. All right, keep going until you get dizzy or bored, or until I ask you to stop. In other words, you haven't got to keep doing a figure of 8 if you're thinking, don't know where I'm going now. Okay, do you want any hints and tips with this, or just want to get on and see how we go? Get on?
Tips are always welcome.
You like tips? All right, some very basic tips for you then. Remember, it's a slow speed control maneuver, so clutch, slip, power and rear brake are important for this, okay? The other really important thing, and this is where it all starts in reality, your head and eyes. If you don't look at the correct place at the correct time, it makes maneuvering so much harder for you. Do not look at the floor. Look into the distance beyond the cone. Your job is to try and get your head and eyes through the gap in the cones as soon as you can, and that's what keeps the bike coming through the crossover. Does that make sense? They're the only tips I'm going to give you. If I need to intervene and help you, of course I will, but I'm going to give you the chance to get there, get the feel for it and see what you can sort out. You happy with that?
Yeah.
Number 1, please. Off you go. So it come nice and wide, give yourself room to breathe. A little bit of gas. That's it, just relax into it, you're doing well. Turn the head gently, bring your gas gently on. Keep looking through the turn, bit more clutch, keep the eyes up, just look through the turn. That's good, that's lovely. Feel the stability. Bring your power on, turn your head, bit more power. Slowly out with the clutch, push the bike. Gently, that's it. If you pull the clutch in, it'll tip. Turn the head, gently bring your gas on. Keep your head through, looking through. Keep your head looking, keep looking. Don't look over there, that's where you'll go. That's it, just keep the engine gently bubbling. Look all the way through the turn. So if you look at me, just ride towards me, just ride at me. Just keep looking, just keep. Right, now start to turn the head again. Now look for me as soon as you can. Just look at me and ride at me. Don't look over there. Can you see how that unfolds? So when you look in the wrong place, you see something you don't like. When you don't like it, your brain says, I want to stop. So you now shut the power and you lose stability. You pull the clutch in, the bike starts to tip, and then you go for the front brake because that foot's had to come down because it's on the inside of the turn. So basically, it's unfolded in every way that you don't want. And it all started because you looked there rather than here. Does that make sense? Go on, off you go. That's it. Now bring the power gently up and look at me. Look at me, look at me. Now just ride towards me. Just ride towards me. That's all you've got to do. Go on, try and do it on your own now. Can you tell me what's not working for you?
I think I'm getting to this angle.
Yep.
I think I'm pulling the clutch in and just dropping all my speed.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Exactly that. So your revs are a little bit low anyway.
Right.
But okay, look, if you want to, leave your revs low, get the bike moving, let the clutch come out fully,
Yeah.
and just do the circuit.
Right, okay.
Because at least that'll prove to you it will do it.
Yeah.
It's less likely to do it if you lean with the bike though, because you're going to change that centre of gravity more to the inside of the turn. So you're welcome to try that if you wish, to try and build your confidence.
I'll just try. I don't know. Doing that, it just feels like I'm going to go way too quick, but obviously I'm not.
Okay, well you're not if your clutch is in the right place. So when you look at that friction zone of the clutch, biting point fully engaged, you've got to be somewhere in the middle, and that's a place you've got to learn.
Yeah.
So basically, the place not to learn it is in the bend, all right? But that's why we did the slow speed exercise.
Yeah.
So when the power comes on, the bike should feel a little bit more stable, like it's just trying to draw it forward, but it's not surging forward.
Yeah.
So that's your sweet spot. Any speed that you get then that you don't want has to be taken away by the rear brake.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just like we said to the other guy just now, it's important you keep your head and eyes, because when your head and eyes are in the correct place, you'll have the confidence to raise the power and just let the bike move that little bit quicker, and you'll go there, and then it'll fall into place.
Yeah.
You happy with that?
Yeah, I'll carry on.
Okay. So just to give you a little bit of assistance, just to give you a leg up, all right? So look directly at me and don't look anywhere else at the moment. That's it. Now let the bike move. Keep looking. Now start turning your head. I want you to look for me as soon as you can. Now let the bike move, let it move. Put more power on the back gently. Do you feel the stability there? We'll go around, we'll do that again. So now start looking for me and just ride at me. Just let it move, ride at me. Keep it coming. Okay, you've put your foot down, but keep it moving. Don't give up, all right? Because you're perfectly safe. Look for me, look for me. Now let the clutch come out gently and ride at me. I'm gonna move out your way. So this time, don't give up if your foot comes down, just let it move. Look at me, now look at me, come on, clutch out, clutch, that's good. Come on, keep coming. Good, it will come, all right, it will come. That's it, now look at me. That's it, come on, drive it, there you go. And you relax that elbow, which is really good news. Go on, good man. So the training session ended well, everybody was happy, and I was happy that everyone could start their direct access course. So they'll now go on to 4 days of intensive training with their tests at the end of it, and should they be successful in their tests, they will have their full licences. So until next time, ride safe and take care.